oh my goodness, I haven't posted on my stories in 3 days. Let me, get something together. Oh, my feed has been dry for 2 weeks. Let me just come up with something off the cuff right now and post it. This should not be happening because you should be scheduling it in advance. You need to organize the platforms in your mind. And so I organize my social media platforms into 2 categories. There are categories where I am looking for new clients, right? Or is this a social media platform where I'm going to be nurturing clients? Hey, Courtney Sanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things, but I do it because I'm so passionate about helping you turn your success story into a 6 or 7-figure brand. And let's just be honest, there is no 6 or 7-figure brand to be made in today's day and age, right? 2022 as I'm recording this, going in to 2023, that is not utilizing content and social media. And so if you thought this was one of those channels where I was gonna come on here and be like, oh yeah, girl, you can, grow a huge brand and you don't ever have to post on social media. I'm not saying that that's not possible, but I'm just not the coach for you that can teach you how to do that, because I don't know. I don't know how to do that. I have grown my audience through social media. I attract my clients through social media, and all of my clients do the same. Now, what I can teach you how to do is how to not make social media so, just stressful for you, right? How to organize it in a way where you're not pulling your hair out. So I actually have another video that you can check out right here, which tells you my process for how I create social media content. Hint, hint, I batch a lot of it in advance, but even if you follow the strategies that I give in that video and you are batching them in advance, you might be curious how I organize and how I lay all of these things out. So if that is something that has just been a thorn in your side, social media, and you're ready to get organized so that you can start attracting clients in the new year and beyond, you are in the right place, because we're getting ready to get into that right now. Okay, the first thing that you have to keep in mind when it comes to organizing your social media content is really you need to organize the platforms that you use in your mind. Most people just choose platforms that they think that they can get the greatest reach on. So for right now, everybody's talking about TikTok. I know, I heard you all loud and clear. I promise I'm getting on TikTok very, very soon. I feel like each video I do, I'm like, no, I hate TikTok. I'm not getting on TikTok. And then it's like, okay, I'm considering getting on TikTok. And now I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna get on the bandwagon. I'm gonna get on TikTok, Just give me a second, right? So we're gonna start repurposing content for that. But the reason why I haven't gotten on there, and the reason why you wanna think about whether it makes sense for you to get on there, is because you need to organize the platforms in your mind. And so I organize my social media platforms into 2 categories. There are categories where I am looking for new clients, right? So I ask myself, is this a social media platform where I'm gonna be looking for new clients, or is this a social media platform where I'm going to be nurturing clients? That is really important, because that is going to help you determine how often you need to be showing up on that social media platform, the type of content that you need to be creating on that social media platform, again, where it falls in your business, if you're gonna be offering, any freebies or any kind of lead capture systems to get people off those social media platforms and into your world and in your email list. Again, it's gonna be different based on what the purpose of the social media platform is. So is it designed to help you get new clients, or is it designed to help you nurture your clients or your community? That is really important for you to understand. Now, this is gonna vary based on person to person, but for me, the platforms that I'm using to attract new clients is primarily YouTube. That is my place. I also use Instagram. Instagram has become less of a place where I get new clients, and it's more of a place where I nurture my clients. So YouTube is kind of my place for new clients. Instagram is my place to nurture clients. My podcast is also my place to nurture clients. So I'm not looking to create a huge podcast that's like, top 10 podcasts on iTunes, even though my podcast has cracked the top 100 on iTunes, which is really cool. And I do get new people via word of mouth, where people who listen to my podcast will share with a friend, and I'll grow that way. But my Instagram and my podcast are primarily for nurturing. My YouTube is primarily for growth, right? For finding new people. And because you all have twisted my arm and have badgered me and I'm getting on TikTok, I imagine that TikTok will also be a place where I find new people. So it's gonna be different for you. Maybe you use LinkedIn, Medium, Twitter. There's tons of other social media platforms that might be the place for you, but you wanna first organize it in your mind, the platform. Is this for new people, or is this to nurture people? All right, once you have determined if you are looking for new people or you're nurturing people, you wanna focus on the client attractive content that you are coming up with. Now, this is different from the second type of content that we'll talk about, but your client attractive content is the content that you create for the platforms platforms where you are looking for new clients, right? Because think about it. For me, my YouTube channel, the type of content that I come up with on my YouTube channel is distinctly designed to be attractive to people who have never heard of me before, and for people who are looking for problems to solve, who have questions around their coaching business. So that's why I do my video topics the way that I do them. And you see that I structure my videos the way that I do, because I understand, again, that this platform is for new clients. And so I am looking to create client attractive content. But that leads us into the second type of content that you should be creating for the other type of platform, right? The platforms that we do or that we use to nurture our clients or our potential clients. And that is community attractive content, right? So you have platforms that are for new people and platforms that are to nurture people. And within them, the platforms that are for new people, you have client attractive content, and the platforms that are to nurture people, you have community attractive content. And so community attractive content is really content that's going to be more centered around you, your thought process, how you think about things, getting people to connect with you and with each other so that you can build a community around your mission, what you stand for, what your brand really is. And so this is why I say all the time that your brand is more than just your logo and your colors. It's like everything that you stand for. You want to start creating content that demonstrates what your brand stands for, what you stand for, your mindset, all of that stuff. And so this is why I say my podcast is way less structured than my YouTube video. If you subscribe to my podcast, it's literally me just turning on my microphone. I'm kind of shooting the breeze. I rarely interview people, even though sometimes I do, but it's more kind of a stream of consciousness, thoughts, things I'm thinking about right now, what's going on in my life, because I understand that that is a nurture platform. Therefore, that content needs to be community attractive because I'm looking to foster community. Same thing with my Instagram. I have a lot of content that is good for fostering community, as well as some content that also attracts clients as well, because Instagram kind of plays both sides of the fence for me and my business, but it's becoming more of a place where I nurture my audience. So you want to organize the platform in your mind, and then you want to organize the type of content, and you'll be organizing it via if it's client attractive content or it is community attractive content. All right, I have more where that came from, but first I want to hear from you. What social media platforms are you on? Share in the comments below. Okay, the fourth thing that you need to keep in mind in order to organize your social media content is you really want to approach your social media like a magazine feed. And it's almost hard to say that nowadays because, like, what are magazines, right? Magazines have fallen by the wayside years and years ago, but I know I used to personally love getting those glossy magazines in the mail. I would sit on the floor in my bedroom and just kind of leaf through the magazines. I would cut things out and save it on poster board or, on my various vision boards that I had for myself in order to achieve my goals. But the main thing that I really loved about magazines is that everything was very curated. And so it wasn't just a hodgepodge of stuff in a magazine. It usually fit a certain theme. There were editorial standards, things that went on the magazine, things that didn't go on the magazine. And so you want to treat your social media the same way. And I find that a lot of people do not treat their business social media this way, even if it has your name on it, right? So my business social media has my name on it. This YouTube channel, CourtneyLSanders. My Instagram, CourtneyLSanders. The podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show. Just because it has my name on it doesn't mean it's a personal hodgepodge. I'm still treating it like a magazine in the sense that I'm following a general theme. I have my own editorial standards in terms of what I will post, what I will not post. And ultimately, I want it to be like a capsule collection of informative content that my clients and my potential clients can dive into. And so just like with the real magazine, how we would often cut out articles and images and things that we wanted to save, people are doing the same thing with your social media now. They're just not cutting it out with actual scissors. They're saving it in their profiles or on Instagram, how you can save and you can have all these things organized. People are still performing the same activities that they did with magazines, but they're just doing it in a new digital way. And so you want to make sure that you have content that is actually savable. And part of what makes your content actually savable is, again, making it like a magazine, making it according to a theme, making sure that it's helpful and information that someone is going to want to save, and that you have editorial standards so that it looks a certain way and you have, standards for what goes in your social media feed and what does not. So treat it like a magazine. All right, and the fifth thing that you'll need to do in order to keep your social media organized is simply schedule it ahead of time, right? I'm always amazed at how many people are rushing last minute. Oh my goodness, I haven't posted on my stories in 3 days. Let me, get something together. Oh, my feed has been dry for 2 weeks. Let me just come up with something off the cuff right now and post it. This should not be happening because you should be scheduling it in advance. But oftentimes it's difficult for people to schedule in advance because they are not not batch creating in advance. And so like I mentioned earlier, I have an entire video that walks you through my batch creation process. But once you follow that process and you batch create, you're going to want to schedule in advance because everything will be very organized. And to help with the previous point about making sure your social media looks and operates like a magazine, it's going to be a lot easier to do that if you know what goes out ahead of time. So most actual print magazines are months and months ahead, right? They're planning their Christmas, or holiday edition well into the summer, right? In June and July, they're planning the magazine that's going to be going out in December. And so while you don't have to be that far in advance for your personal social media, you do want to be ahead of it where you're not creating things in the moment, but you are scheduling it, not just because it makes everything look nice, but really for your peace of mind, because who has time to be posting social media in the moment? I know I definitely don't. So check out that video all about how I batch create, and then make sure that you are scheduling things in advance. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you're gonna love my content planning cheat sheet. It's my cheat sheet for my process that I use to this day to come up with social media topics that I know are going to attract clients. So if you're curious about what that is, go ahead and click the link below in order to download. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. If you loved it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want even more where that came from, make sure that you are subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show. And if you want even more, make sure that you are following me on Instagram. That's CourtneyLSanders on Instagram, where I post every single day, including on my stories, where you can get a sneak peek at the behind the scenes of my life. And so with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.